the omni-channel shopping mission take off from where it currently is? And how do you see an HUL? I mean, you're not just a distribution platform. You're also now doing your own private label, so you're also competing with the likes of them.
I want to remind you that Nykaa won't be where they are without both HUL and L'Oreal. So they are very much, we have to be immensely thankful to them to allow someone like me to start this business 12 years ago. I think I've had both the brands on the platform right from the beginning. So there's no question. We always say we are a retailer first, and we are here to service Indian consumers with the best of what beauty has to offer. Yeah. And that's where the beauty industry is so exciting, because if you look at their own portfolios, they have so many brands. I think HUL has more than 50 brands, similarly with L'Oreal. And if you ask them, we are always begging, give us this brand, bring us this brand from abroad. We are always trying to bring the best brands from abroad. And this is why consumers love Nykaa, because from very early days, we started, I think we decided that we must bring Korean brands into the country. We went to Korea, convinced them, and we really helped them come into the country, and they've also done so well. So from very early days, we've really tried to bring the best of what, not just the world, but now also what India has to offer to our consumers. And I think Nykaa specializes in doing these customer journeys at scale. And I think what we do differently, and again, when I say personalization, I just don't mean certain cohorts being shown certain amount of items. I think Nykaa is now personalizing journeys based on consumer journeys on our platform, off platform, and building very sophisticated journey based on what was their previous consumption and what they should now consume. And what that is allowing us is to build so many brands at scale, and that is a testament to success of Nykaa. It's not that one brand has come, five others are forgotten. I think we are able to build so many brands in all segments, from D2C to global brands to even Indian brands which have always been in India in a very successful manner. And that's the main role of retailer, to satisfy each customer.
Yeah, I just want to take forward the aspect that we were all talking about, and the big explosion that is taking off and likely to pick up pace and momentum of the Bharat story, and how that's going to be driving consumption, especially as far as the beauty category is concerned. And the report talks about that as well. Shed some light on what we're dealing with here, what we should be excited about.
Right. I think there's a lot being said about that India is going to be next China, the growth going to be high. And I don't think we need to sell that story. Pretty much everyone is onboarded on that. We at Redseer work with a lot of companies which are dealing with disruptions. So it could be startups which are trying to disrupt the market, or it could be the large organizations like Unilever, which are trying to sort of get into a next wave of disruption. So one of the things which we have observed about the Indian consumer is that they are growing confident. And when I say they're growing confident, means they are becoming more and more demanding, and they're confident about their choices. So the whole idea, I think when the internet and e-commerce market started about 10-15 years back, there were a lot of discussions about the large international e-tailers trying to do this education to Indian customers on how to use internet and do online shopping. And somewhere down the line, I think some of these guys understood that that's just one part of the story, that you have to make the customers get educated. But the other part of the story is that these customers have their viewpoints and their demands, and they have to, and the brands and the companies have to start acting as per what they need. And what they need could be very different from what has worked out in the global markets or what has been working till now. So we see that there's a confident India which is coming in, and confident India is being served best by disruptions. So that's where we see the startups and the new companies which are able to ride onto the disruptions are able to serve these customers better. So the point which I'll just add to what the panelists have been saying is that education is great, but at the same time, I think how can we learn from the customers? Because what we are thinking is pretty logical in our mind might not be. So I remember this incident a few years back working with one of the online shopping companies, and this anecdote, they told me that when they got to the small villages and they assumed that when you display a cart on an app, it means that people would just put the things in the cart.
Yeah.
But there's no cart in the small villages.
Right.
So you have to change the product sometimes to meet the needs of this confident India. It's not only about educating these customers.
No, absolutely. You're right in pointing that out. But Rohit, I want to come back to you now and talk about the next wave of disruptions, the next wave of innovation, and how HUL is looking at that to cater to this new, confident, aspirational India. What are the pillars that you're focusing on between beauty and well-being? How do you believe that there's going to be more specialization, more categories emerging even within this space?
I think as the beauty industry evolves, yes, there'll be more segmentation, more fragmentation. It doesn't have to be by way of brands. It has to be definitely by way of benefits. We see that it's a very trend-led category. It's a very education-led category, very content-led category. So first of all, I think it's a zero-sum. It's not a zero-sum game because it's like I said, we're still in the first 10% of this big journey. So all hands on deck to drive and grow this category because. Like I said, it's not a trade-off. So all of us need to work hard at doing that. Now, as far as HUL is concerned, we have we've got an enviable portfolio of brands that serves all segments at all tiers of the market. So first of all, our first port of call is to take our big brands and make them bigger. And we see very good traction with, say, for instance, the Pond's, which can serve a certain segment with many of the aspirational benefits, many of the aspirational formats. Yet there will be certain segments which will require a very specialized offering, and we have been lucky enough to build two brands with Nykaa. One was Love Beauty Planet, that thanks to their help
just was awarded. So
already?
yes,
Okay. Oh, wow,
so
okay.
congratulations
well done
to them
the
as
team
well.
Then. I'm actually representing them as well, and that's given us confidence now to take it to offline. And the Simple, which again, in the face wash category, it's a UK brand that's also been curated, optimized for the Indian market. Love Beauty Planet as well, although it's a US brand, has been optimized for the Indian market. We read trends through all of the work on what consumers are looking for. So it's an example of how we have taken existing equities from the Unilever portfolio and adapted them to the Indian needs, yet kept them pretty modern. And they serve very specific benefits of Simple, which is no nasties, and Love Beauty Planet that's got sort of goodness of ingredients and so on and so forth. So there'll be a role for all forms of brands at all price points, because as we just discussed, the market is extremely big. The needs are extremely specialized. Many consumers have different regimes, up to 20 odd products. And I have personally once counted in a Lakme count. I said, okay, show me everything you sell. And she went around and she finished colors at 10. I said, okay, we haven't even started cleansing and caring, So then this is just one brand. So I'm sure there's a lot of offerings there in the market. So assortment is quite complex.
Visma, let me ask you, your introduction said that you're now grappling with what ChatGPT can do. So what can ChatGPT and Gen AI do for the beauty business?
Well, we are not grappling.
You're already on board with that bus.
We are fully on board. No, so let me just give you a little bit of background, because L'Oreal, we are a pure beauty player. We've been in this business for 115 years, and this is a company which was founded by a scientist, and we have by far the largest investment when it comes to research and innovation in beauty. We spend over €1 billion a year. We've got 4,000 scientists, and in an average year, we file over 600 patents. So last year was about 612. So a lot of innovation that you see in beauty industry, a lot of it actually comes from L'Oreal, because, and that gives us a massive advantage. Now, if I was to go back about a decade, we saw the digital revolution, and we jumped on that digital revolution, and that then gave us the advantage that we have on e-commerce today. So if you look at our global business, over 27% of our global turnover comes from e-commerce now. And if you were to take just the e-commerce business of L'Oreal, that would be the 5th largest beauty company in the world. A few years ago, we saw all the changes that were coming in terms of technology, so Web 3.0, AI, Internet of Things, etc. And at that point in time, we decided that beauty tech, which is a merger of technology and beauty, would be the next big thing. And that's going to be the game changer for beauty, and it's going to be the game changer for the experience that we can create for our consumers. And we were very well placed for that with all the experience that we have. We have by far the richest database on hair and skin for consumers. We have over 11 petabytes of data. 11
petabytes of data, okay.
Petabytes is not a term that's used very often.
No, it's not.
We have over 11 petabytes of data in our own databases, which is being fed into these latest LLMs, etc. and that allows us to do predictive formula evaluation, which means the formulations can be finalized much faster.
Yeah.
It allows us to fine-tune content for our consumers, and within the organization we are using more and more. We've trained over 20,000 people on Gen AI, and we are going very fast on that. I was laughing with Falguni a little bit earlier because we got the full report just before we came here because it was under embargo, and it's about 55 pages, and we have something called L'Oreal GPT, which is a sandboxed it's kind of wall garden, and it's GPT, where none of the data goes out of L'Oreal servers. So I just took the report, I put it on L'Oreal GPT, and I got the full summary, which was down to about 1.5 pages.
I wish I'd known. I would have pinged you. I would have had to read the whole report.
Yeah, so I can send the summary through to you. So we very strongly believe, and there's a lot of talk about technology is going to replace people. No. People who are using technology smartly are going to replace people who are not using technology. And that's history. If you see, every time there's new technology that's come about, there are people who are early adopters, there are people who master it, and they do much better than people who are not able to. And we think that's going to happen over here as well. So
we wish you the very best of luck with each of your individual plans, and we hope as you win, the Indian consumer continues to win in the beauty care space as well. Thank you very much for your time. And ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our panelists here.